welcome to episode 1113 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I am your host, Christian Piles, joined by a usual cast of characters, plus one. To my right, JD Rader. To the left, David Bray. To the left, Tyler Meisinger. And joining us from Japan, our friend, world champion, Masanosuke Ono. Ono, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for coming on. It is midnight in Japan, very late. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
Yes.
My first question, I wanted to know how did you enjoy your time in America, training, and then wrestling Spencer Lee?
Oh, yeah. I'm enjoy training and compete Spencer. So I was my dream to train with coaches and athlete. I have been watching to YouTube for about 10 years.
Wow. When do you expect you will compete again in wrestling?
Oh, I don't know yet. Maybe next June. So because this is World Championship qualify. Yes, maybe.
Have you made a decision what weight category you will wrestle at the World Championships?
Oh, I'm thinking right now. So 57 or 61. Actually, I don't know 65. I don't know yet.
You don't know? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
okay.
right.
No problem.
No problem. Okay. My next question, actually, it is not a question, but I understand you have an announcement to make. What is your announcement, Ono?
Oh, yep. And I'm announcing that I'm going to the part Penn State and wrestling. This is decision for my life. So, you know, but Penn State will help me, and Penn State is best in the world.
So you're going to go to Penn State as a student and wrestle on the Penn State wrestling team?
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you wanted to do that? Oh.
Yeah, this is Penn State. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit him with the "we are."
Yeah, this is good.
This is good. I'm very happy for you, Ono.
Yeah, I'm happy. So, like I like Penn State, and so yeah, just fun.
Did you see Penn State won the national championships this weekend?
Yeah, I watched every NCAA competition. Like, so everything is cool.
It is cool.
Yes.
A lot of fans were watching in the arena.
Yeah, many people, and yes.
Do you what do you think about folk style wrestling? Do you understand it?
Yep. Oh, I don't know yet, but so I will learn folk style. I need a lot practice, but I'm just excited. So I will be NCAA champ, 100%.
100%. That's hard.
Yes.
That's hard to argue with, given what you've already been able to accomplish. Do you know what weight class you want to wrestle? Would you be 133?
Actually, I don't know, but coach said to me, it's no problem. 125, 133, 141, 149, 157. It's no problem. It's okay. Every class, it's okay. I don't know yet.
I agree. I would like to see you at 157. That would be funny. So funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very cool. When will you return to America?
Oh, so this is I have to get a visa. So I don't have yet. So maybe no soon.
Not
Like
soon.
yes, yes.
Would it be maybe after the World Championships or before?
Maybe before, but I don't know. So I need interview embassy. So I I have to reservation. So
What made you want
yeah.
to do? What made you want to wrestle in NCAA competition for Penn State?
Also, please one more.
Yes. Why do you want to wrestle for the Penn State wrestling team?
Oh, just because Penn State it is best in the world. So
I understand.
I want, yeah, I want to NCAA champ, Olympic champ, world champ. Yeah. So and under 23 world champ. So
Very cool.
yeah, every complete.
Do you know how many years you will be in
Yeah.
at Penn State?
I don't know actually. So maybe. So I don't know. Yeah. Sorry,
That's
I don't know
okay.
yet. Yeah.
That's okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Anything? Oh, me. Oh, so I wanna announcing committed Penn State. So
Cool.
I will be champ. Yeah.
I believe you. Can you show
Yeah.
Can you show your shirt really quick? Can you show the people your shirt?
Yes.
Very good.
This is good. Oh, 1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
This.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Very cool.
This is after the shower.
After the shower.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I like. Well,
Yeah, I like to.
Ono, thank you very
Yeah.
much for coming on. It's always great to
Yeah.
talk to
Thank
you.
you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
I hope I see you soon.
Yeah. I hope so.
Have a good day, Ono, or good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's official. Masanosuke Ono is going to be wrestling. He's not just going to Penn State. He's going to be wrestling for Penn State University. This had been speculated for a little bit, and, you know, you wonder, is it happening? Is it not going to happen? And this is just I don't know, I can't think of a comparison, an equivalent happening in wrestling in quite some time or ever. Getting the reigning senior world champion from Japan to enter folk style competition.
It's never happened. I mean, we've had some incredible international wrestlers that made big impacts on the NCAA, but none of them were guys that were knocking off American legends.
Yeah, he's already beaten Vito Rujao and Spencer Lee and Marcus Blaze before even entering. So it sounds like, you know, there's a lot up in the air yet to be determined about when he's going to wrestle, how long he's going to be here, weight class. We know it's between 125 and 157.
Yep.
So we've got that narrowed down.
Mesenbrink
He did say any weight class.
Mesenbrink's spot seems safe at this point.
I don't know.
But everybody else, who knows?
I'm not counting anyone out. But yeah.
It's crazy because the rumor was a while ago that Higuchi was going to go to Penn State, right? And
Well, it was like kind of a funny thing in like 2016. People were saying that, but and who knows? Maybe they tried. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But getting him in, and I don't know what sort of different complications there are with, you know, how much English does he need to know? How much, you know, how does eligibility work when he was at university in Japan? But I guess they've been working through that. But it certainly seemed like since we've got to know Ono this fall, he really loves Penn State.
Yeah. Uncle Hefe's in the chat. He said, and here I thought he was going to announce he won Lineup Legends.
That is funny, Hefe. He did not. Gary from North Carolina, he won, getting 7 out of 10 correct. It's not surprising to see we went from 9 correct last year to 7, given everything that happened at the NCAA championships. We'll follow up on that maybe later, but maybe put a bow on the Ono talk before we go. It's great having him on. I mean, obviously, he's very, it's hard for him to put it, English is his second language, but he wanted to come on and make this announcement, and I really appreciate him and putting himself out there like that.
It's just crazy the timeline of we first met him when we were interviewing Vito. He came up and interrupted our interview and said, "Hi, my name is Ono," and then just how often we saw him from that point on. He just infiltrated everything, and he became American wrestling fans' #1 international wrestler. Everyone became an instant fan of him. He popped off on the World Tournament. He comes to Penn State, and I don't know. It's just how quickly this all happened. Is how fast he popped onto the scene and just became everyone's favorite is insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Iowa gets Bo Bassett, Oklahoma State gets Jax Forrest, and then you're like, all right, here we go. It's like they get a little momentum, and then Penn State's like, well, how about we get the best guy just in the world?
Pound for pound, maybe.
The guy that beats Spencer and Vito and Okoyev, and we'll just get him.
When it's the way that he thinks about wrestling as a fan is just this dude is the ultimate wrestling fan.
Yeah.
That's also the best wrestler. It's he's just man, I love. It almost feels like he is happier to be a good wrestler because that means he can get autographs and pictures with his. It's like, dude,
that's his driving force.
If I win worlds, then I can do selfies with Jordan Burroughs and singlet swap with David Taylor. It's that's what's motivating him.
Penn State's gonna have to get a bunch of extra singlets for him because he's gonna end up with other people's singlets instead.
Oh my gosh,
that's so true. We got to be there for his first match.
He's gonna be he'll be in practice after the Iowa duel wearing a Hawkeye singlet.
He doesn't really understand.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's fine.
Right. Man, so the fun thing will be just how do they get him up to speed in folk style? Mm-hmm. Where does his mat game go? Does he ever become a turner? Does he, how quickly can he learn the bottom position? Which is, it's so different. But what this guy can do on his feet is just unbelievable.
Dude, I feel like he could be a turner. You think about how good his gut wrench is, how strong he could be on top if he just figured out some stuff.
He certainly seems like he'll be hard to hold down.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Penn State's schedule is always the last one to come out because I am desperately waiting to see who that first match
that poor
is.
soul.
I mean, and we probably also won't know
my gosh.
what weight he'll even be until basically he steps out on the mat.
A poor soul at the Black Knight Invitational who has to wrestle Masanosuke Ono.
This guy? Yeah.
But think about if I'm trying to think of I'm thinking 33 is probably the most likely weight class for him.
It depends on probably where they want to fit Marcus Blaze.
Also, he could redshirt. He could.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows how many years of eligibility he has? I don't know how that works because he went to school in Japan. I don't know if your clock probably doesn't start international. I don't know how that works at all.
I don't either.
I was just trying to think if there's somebody with a mat game at 33 or 41, a la a Ridge Lovett.
Seth Gross.
Well, yeah, I'm talking now though. That
Ridge is not now anymore. He's gone.
I know, but I'm talking about somebody like that at 33 or 41. That's he can give up 3 takedowns and still be in big trouble because this guy's going top and it's going to be an issue.
You know what? Nasir was that guy last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what folk style match I'm really interested in a couple years from now is Ono and Jax Forrest. I feel like that's going to get wacky. I feel like that
would be crazy.
Gonna get weird. Yeah.
Oh, man. Unbelievable news. It's crazy the first show after NCAAs to have something not really NCAA championships related, but in many ways this is bigger, as unbelievable as it is. So very thankful to Ono for coming on here and sharing that announcement. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it for a while. A lot more to learn about it, right? But it's it's official. Masanosuke Ono to Penn State.
Man.
Wow. All right.
I just hope it's a Japan to U.S. folk style pipeline. Let's open the floodgates. Get them all in here. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, then they're gonna all beat us.
What if it starts happening in women's NCAA? I mean,
oh wow.
Oh man.
Just killing everybody.
Larissa Chun just starts getting all the Japanese wrestlers.
Wow.
That'd be crazy.
Open the door.
Okay. We'll transition to NCAA Wrestling Championships talk. JD, where are we starting?
I think we kind of just start with overall initial thoughts. Then we can kind of go in the team score weight by weight, but when we are just looking back at the kind of overall big picture, the main takeaways from this NCAA championships, what is it?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the biggest story is Wyatt beating Gable, but I think more than anything, it's like there's not always that much or in these particular championships, I would say, there was not as much to glean from the regular season that would dictate how this was going to go. Like there was nothing that would have suggested Antrell Taylor would be the NCAA champion this year. Vincent Robinson did not win ACCs. Who would have thought Wyatt would be able to do that? Dean Hamady going through 2 national champions. But there were still some constants. The greatest, rows above, right? Carter and Mitchell getting the job done. Jesse Mendez, he's another one whose season, the last month and change he had, there was not a lot showing a trajectory of I'm going to beat Bo Bartlett, I'm going to beat Brock Hardy, because just the opposite. He had lost 2 in a row to Bo. He had lost the last one to Brock Hardy, and then looked as good as ever at these NCAA championships. It was maybe one of the most surprise-filled NCAA tournaments I can recall.
To your point, I just did a quick tally in my head. 5 of the NCAA champs did not win their conference tournaments.
Yes.
5 of them. I mean, yes. This season was one of the most just kind of like chalk, like not that crazy, whatever. And then the tournament was the opposite. We had 2 NCAA champs get beat day 1.
Yep.
And then it got crazier from there.
It was nuts. And it doesn't. For Andrew and Richie, they were probably very common picks in all your fantasy things, and it made me think differently. Like for some, you can't just turn it on in NCAAs and count on that, and that's what it seemed like to me. But I think putting the Wyatt win in proper perspective is probably a good place to start.
Put in perspective, where does this rank among the all-time NCAA wrestling moments?
I think it's maybe number 1. I think it's the biggest upset in NCAA wrestling history. And I think when you consider Gable, and I think that just how we and how the wrestling world was talking about this matchup. And on this show, you guys are saying Gable coming back kind of ruins heavyweight, a weight class we were really excited about. That was the rhetoric. Mm-hmm. And then no one going into, it's like you see some crazy, like I've seen some crazy stuff in wrestling matches. I watched Gable's win against Geno, and I watched David Yazdani and some other, Matt Ramos. But this one was crazy because for those matches were, I thought the Americans were going to win going into that. You think and it's like for years you're just thinking of Gable as just a separate category of wrestling discussion as it comes to collegiate wrestling. And to have it all change right there in the last 30 seconds of that match was unbelievable.
Dude, that morning, we were in the car driving to the venue, and you were like, what percentage chance you get Wyatt? And I kind of got on you. I was like, dude, don't be ridiculous. Like 0. Like stop. Like 0%.
Yeah.
And you were like, it's got to be like 8%. But then you were like, but that means if they wrestled 100 times, that Wyatt would win 8. So it's probably less than that. And then the freaking guy did it.
Yeah.
Well, and the way he did it too, like a leg attack where you're not going around him, you're going freaking through him.
You're just getting locked on a leg.
No way. I was texting yesterday with good friend of the show, Brooks Whelan.
Oh yeah.
And he's a huge wrestling fan, but there's not a lot of opportunities for wrestlers to talk wrestling when they're, at these comedy shows because people don't know. And he said, my friend at the show last night asked me to equate Gable losing to something he could understand.
Uh-huh.
And I said, it's like if Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl and then got shot with a gun.
Pretty good.
That pretty much
That's why he's a professional comedian. I'm like, oh, where's this going?
It's not just like that. Why this season or even their college careers? It's the fact that Gable was a prodigy. He's named after Dan Gable. He was born to be an NCAA champion. Wyatt, coming out of high school, he was a nobody. He's from small town Kansas. He went to the Air Force. He went to a service academy, right? Where, it was a big deal when Navy got an All-American this year, 2 All-Americans. Like, that's the standard at the service academies. And he goes and he does this. It made me emotional. Like,
It was insane in there.
I teared up. I teared up not because I like Wyatt more than Gable Steveson, but because it truly was unthinkable. It's something where nobody outside of Stillwater gives this man a chance, and it just shows you, like, the belief is what really matters. And the way the coaches just embraced him immediately after, it was an amazing moment. I saw this edit yesterday on Twitter. Shout out to Pistol Rick on Twitter, where it's got the commentary over it when he's in on the shot here, and then when he gets it, it cuts to Freebird. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I
and
see that.
it made me cry. It made me cry again on Sunday. I watched it 100 times. I cried each
Kept
time.
watching. I think everyone spent all day Sunday watching every angle, every clip. My favorite one is the shot across the mat where you have the Oklahoma State staff
That
in
was
the
this
background.
edit.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's just, I don't know. It does make you emotional. It is really special. And you just,
There were actual tears coming out of my eyes.
JD,
And I don't get emotional.
Is that the
I'm not
first
emotional
time? Is
back.
that the first time in your life, JD?
It might be.
That might be the first time.
yeah.
Even as an infant, didn't cry.
Yeah. He was just like, food, poop. Yeah. Just, I mean, I think about the wrestling.
This was that shot across, I think, right? Yeah, right.
No.
It's
I saw. No, it sounded different because you can
That's still
see the
pretty good,
coaches.
It's pretty good.
Sermon.
I
I'll
thought
send you one, Tyler.
the finish was crazy because he just barely had one arm on it. And how do you pull that in? How is Gable not able to slide? How did he? I don't know. Just everything about it didn't make sense. And it was, in that second period or third period, we're kind of like, he's kind of in this, right? Mm-hmm. And then he gets in and we're all just like, is this really happening?
Well, to me, he is not in that position in the third period unless he's fighting for his life in the scrambles to avoid giving up points early in the match. And that was incredible.
Yes.
I mean, the way he's passing legs, I mean, it's like Gable Stevenson's legs, they don't get passed.
No.
Nobody does that. And he's fighting. I mean, I felt like he was just being valiant and fighting to keep it close. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, no, he's
Kept
going to
himself
win.
in it.
Insane.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, we'll talk about it for forever. I had everyone. I think everyone that knows you're a wrestling fan ends up texting you. They're like, "Oh, did this?" And that was definitely the response. Just
Dude, Gable was so close to more scores too. Like that double at the end of the first or second period. I
Yeah.
can't remember which one. Like he had his leg up in the air and White kicked out. Like at the time, like okay, cool. Like it's kind of futile, but like way to stay in the
Way
fight.
to fight.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It all mattered.
It all mattered, and the ride out too.
Yeah.
Gable got up. What I didn't realize until I rewatched it was like Gable got all the way up to his feet and was like kind of close, and then I just put the squeeze on for that final.
I will be interested to see how this match will be viewed in history. I'm talking 70 years from now. It will be a match. We absolutely gets mentioned. I do not think it'll be quite in the same vein as Owens Gable because it did not stop history like Owens Gable did, where Gable's trying to go undefeated in his college career, even his high school career too. Gable was going for his third title, and I know you're going to say he was an Olympic champion, whatever, but just in terms of it didn't stop history like the way Gable Owens did, I think that's why that one gets separated a little bit.
I don't know. I think this is way more significant than that because he did beat an Olympic champion, and Gable was going for 3 straight undefeated seasons, as was Dan Gable.
We don't view it the same. People have had.
Well, you speak for yourself.
I'm talking record. I'm talking 70 years from now when you're dead and gone.
I'm not gonna be dead in 70 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 110. Just
110.
Like I'm sure there are not other matches where an Olympic champion lost, but in NCAA wrestling 60 years ago where somebody was going for 2-3 undefeated seasons type and lost, and we don't remember it quite the same as that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This era of athletics in general is like you're basically getting pros back into college, you know, and that's the thing. Like Gable, it's like if Dan Gable after his Olympic gold, it's like, hey, one more shot at the college thing. That's what's going on here. And I mean, you spent all day yesterday, you know, crying and watching the replay. I spent all day yesterday thinking about Dan Gable and Gable Dan and just the comparison of these two athletes. Like it's like they are like they're just this interesting just this dichotomy of like both excellent, both incredible, did things different paths, but like ended the same, right? Losing that last match, very, very crazy. I don't know. I just, yeah, it's like there's so many like ways to think about that. You know, it's like Dan Gable, he was the guy that was so gritty, doing working as hard as he could every single time. Even, you know, Gable Steveson in his post after the match was over, he's like, hey, I enjoyed all these different things, you know, skipping warm-ups, doing this or whatever. And like, they're just so opposite, but they're just both so excellent. It's, I don't know, funny to kind of make that comparison. I think history has a lot of time to compare these two guys to each other because they're both at the very top of what we've ever seen on a wrestling mat.
Now, I'm very interested to see and hopeful that this puts a chip on Gable's shoulder.
Yeah.
And he wants to come back and he wants to go, all right, Wyatt, you got me in the NCAA finals. Now it's time to actually lock in here and go on a run. Beat me for the world team spot. Beat me for the world team spot this year, next year, 2027, and for the LA spot.
Yeah.
Let's see you do that. And let's see how big of an upset that truly was when I beat you these next 4 years.
That'll be cool.
Hope so.
I hope so. And, man, what a feather in David Taylor's cap.
I mean, yeah,
That's kind of also where my mind went after having, you know, the night to kind of digest what that meant for Wyatt himself.
It wasn't the first
Gable
match that night that made him look impressive. It started with DJ.
Like, well, you could even argue Troy.
Yeah, even getting him to the finals. But like, dude, Hamady had not won a match like that in his career yet. Like,
Well, he did the night.
Then
He did the night
Levi.
before.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
he beat Levi, and then he did it again. Like, and then you see that, and you're like, wow, look at what they did for him. And then freaking Wyatt beating Gable. It's like, because it happens once, and you're like, all right, maybe this guy, this one individual, just like was really driven or whatever. But then it happens to two guys that were it's like you just didn't expect either of them to get it done, and they both do. It's really impressive.
Yeah, to go from DMP to champion through two champions is unreal for Dean. Wyatt doing what he did. They had, you know, Cam and Fish didn't place last year, finish on the podium, and Spratley DMPs to the final and then makes the finals. It's a incredible first year for David and a team that is as well as they wrestled. They weren't even second. They got third because Nebraska.
Dude.
I mean, I've never seen something like that. And there's a lot of flowers that need to be distributed to different teams and different wrestlers on this show. And Oklahoma State, obviously, but what Nebraska did, I mean, their seed to finish differential, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. And just really, it felt like all the, I don't know if you call it bad luck or bad, whatever. They had some tough Fridays historically, right? Where they're right there, they're hot, and then tough quarterfinal round, tough semifinal, tough blood round, and what they were able to do, getting 8 of 9 on the podium, 2 champions, right? No team had more than 2 champions. It's just, it was an unbelievable statement by Coach Manning and the Huskers, and the momentum. I really felt like that is such a tight team, and I wonder this is a thought I just had just a second, but like Nebraska is a team that for years and years, I'm like, these guys are all best friends.
Yeah.
They're not faking it. I'm just around watching, observing, and like, man, these are all just boys. And then do you wonder if like the negative momentum of what's happened to them on other Fridays negatively affects their team? And then the opposite here, where once it got rolling.
I thought you weren't a momentum guy.
I'm putting it out there. I'm not a momentum guy. But I'm just throwing out that theory, like making.
So maybe you are a momentum guy.
I believe in the human emotion and the soul.
I'll tell you this. Like, you you see it even like youth sports. My son plays on a youth baseball team.
His Stingers.
He's not yet, but the fall, like that team did not do well. The spring, same kids doing a lot better. And it's something about like just this keeping the same group together, and the progress you can make as a group is usually different than the progress you can make as an individual. I mean, even think about it now, like as an adult, like the workouts you do, the whatever, compared to what you used to do when you're on a team. It's like having a team is a performance enhancer. Having a group of people that believe in each other, that's a PED basically. It's not a drug, but it's a performance enhancer, right? And so I think, call it momentum, whatever, but it's a group of people that, with the accountability that comes with it, like that helps push everything forward,
You're not talking about the greatest performance enhancer of all. Getting a Loper on staff for multiple years.
Okay.
Tervel.
That's actually,
I've been driving that train all year.
I didn't even think about that.
Another thing, it's like if you look, this is for their team. They have 7 of the 9 on this team were on the team last year, so it's not like they got new guys or like better guys. It's like it's the same team. Yeah, and that team I think got 9th last year, and now they get 2nd. And really, 117 points is a national championship performance. We are just in. They are going up against the juggernaut of juggernauts of collegiate sports, not collegiate wrestling in Penn State.
They would have won with this team score 2015, 14, 11, 9, 7, and 2000.
Okay.
Wow. And I mean, you look at their lineup, like if we would have looked at their lineup at the beginning of the year, we would have said, all right, probably like 8 of the 10. I don't think anybody probably would have picked Minto on the podium.
No one knew who that was. Did you know who he was?
No.
You didn't know who he was.
Dude, I remember having a conversation with a friend, like another Michigan alumni, after Bowman wrestled in the Nebraska duel, and we were like, "Who's this Minto guy he lost to?" Like now Bowman's losing to nobodies, and then turns out this guy ended up being really good.
But other than Minto, like you would have said, 8 out of the 10 starters for Nebraska, like can be on the podium, probably will be at some point. But for them to all do it at the same time, I mean, in the same tournament is unbelievable. And then especially Minto. I mean, what a performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
They basically maxed out. Like that's what we always say.
Almost.
This guy could.
But I mean, like Pinto didn't place. He could have. I mean, that's another guy that will. I mean, I think.
Still, he's round of 12, right?
Yeah,
right.
Round of 12.
Like,
he lost in round 1.
That is not below
incredible
expectations coming in for him.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things that I thought was interesting listening to the interview CP that you did with Mark Manning after their performance is, Manning is such a defender of that program. He's basically like, hey, this is good. We've been this good the whole time. We've been right here the whole time, which I was like, I don't know. Like, I think this is pretty good. Anyway, just interesting, like to hear their perspective. This is where they've seen themselves all along. And now it's where they are. Yeah.
Only higher placing team scores that took second in the past 25 years. 2018 Ohio State had 133.5. 2013 Oklahoma State had 119.5. And 2001 Iowa had 125.5.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's good. Good data there, JD. Good data, Cowboy.
Thank you.
Ryan Crookham commented on we just made a post about Ono committed to Penn State. He said good.
Good.
He's got Higuchi in his corner.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Ryan's back on the mat, and we'll see. I'm curious where, for Penn State, they're rife with options at those weight classes with Davis, Blaze coming in, Nagawa's still there. 25. You have Luke Lillidahl. It's
Nate Desmond coming in.
Yep.
Man, they got a lot of good guys.
We're talking about
Great group guys.
Penn State and the overall storylines, takeaways, feeling from NCAA. Penn State has become such a victim of their own success that the story coming out of NCAAs is a second, third place team. When this team broke their own record, set the NCAA scoring record, was the second team to have 10 All-Americans, all guys in the top 6, and maybe would have even been higher if Greg hadn't entry defaulted out. Maybe could have gone top 5. And just that Penn State fans were down. And the story coming away is Nebraska and Oklahoma State. They have become such a victim of their own success.
Well, I think that, and Bo Nickel had a tweet. He said, pretty crazy the wrestling world isn't really talking about PSU scoring 177. I repeat, 177 team points. 8 guys top 3, all 10 top 6, a boring amount of domination. And it's true, but it's understandable if you think about it. One, this is a team that is talked about, and in October, I did a video saying this team can re-break their record, right? There's no surprises at any point, including 177 points, and that's what gets people talking. Are you surprised at all? And really, the story for Penn State, while they had 10 All-Americans, which is a first, and the first time since 2001 that's happened, 2 champions. But the reason it's not being, for whatever reason, and I think is the performance relative to expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Because while they deserve flowers for putting the best team maybe ever on the mat, let's face the facts that if you look at 25, 41, 49, 57, those were all weights we thought they could win.
74.
Right? The champion at 157, Antrell Taylor, was pinned by Tyler Kasak this year and beaten soundly another time. Luke Lillidahl, looked very much, he was a Big Ten champion. He looked like he would win NCAAs. But Bartlett lost to a guy he had beaten, right? Shane Van Ness was kind of blown out by Ridge Lovett. And then Greg, he's injured. Josh Barr, I thought, wrestled awesome. Carter did what he did, which is, we're going to get to that and talk about the history. But I think they're just and Mitchell did exactly what we thought he was doing. Carter did exactly what he thought he was doing. So no one did above because the standard is so high and the expectation is so high. And I think that's how you get to this point. Everyone knows they're the best team. There was no discussion at any point in time if Penn State was going to win. There was no discussion if it could even possibly be close. That's exactly how it played out. And so you look at it on an individual level, and there were guys that could have won, that we thought could win, that did not for whatever reason. Sheldon Seymour beat Luke Lillidahl. Joey Blaze beat Tyler Kasak. Those were huge, huge upsets.
And thinking about how people, when you get a team as good as Penn State, people try to point to one data point to boil it down. And for a lot of years, it's been their record in the semis.
Yep.
Semifinals. They're winning all these matches.
I think they were high 80%.
Yeah. And
semifinal wins.
And so for them to only get 3 in the finals is incredible.
This is a team that's won 5 weights.
Yeah.
We were talking about 5, maybe 6 this year.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing is that's always been the narrative is semifinal performance, insane, off the charts. They can't be beat. And then their finals performance almost as good. And yeah, I mean, they didn't necessarily get all those guys to the finals the way they have in the past. But I'll tell you what, when they got to the backside, oh my gosh.
They were on fire.
Freaking wrecking.
14-1, I think.
A lot of bonus.
A lot of bonus. And that was it's funny because being on the watch party, you really ride the wave of the fan emotion. And as Penn State took some losses, I mean, there were upset Penn State fans. There were, Iowa, Oklahoma State, whoever fans celebrating, and here we go, it's a downfall. And then they still break the team record. I mean, unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it is different, and people are looking to compare. Can David Taylor at Oklahoma State? I mean, his record right now in the semi is 100%. 3 for 3. So I mean, I don't know.
No, and I think that really what they showed on the backside, they're not just front runners, right, who need to be out. They really do. They can get up and go get the next best thing, as cliche as that is. But I think that says as much about their program, if anything.
Big time.
People think of them in contrast with maybe the old school Iowa style, where tough, hard-nosed, grinders. No, it takes toughness. They grind. They come back on the backside. They're tough. They're not just these slick, fancy guys who can just bonus their way through everything. They get tough when they have to.
Yeah, it's a tough team. And, it's one of those. There's only one NCAA tournament every year, and
Yeah.
if you wrestle it again, like if I was thinking about this, who would I pick to win 125?
Lilidol.
I would pick Luke. Who would I pick to win 157? I would pick Tyler.
Yeah.
I would. I don't. I'm not. They're not the champions. They did not win, but I would not pick. I mean, Tyler beat Meyer, right? That was what we thought the match was. Meyer had smoked Antrell previously in freestyle for whatever that means. Maybe nothing. Clearly nothing. Literally meant nothing. But I thought it didn't change my perception of those wrestlers that didn't win. Maybe Shane. Like I underrated the Ridge win at Nebraska, certainly.
Not this guy.
Oh no, the flip flopper. You wore the Velcro, but you should have wore flip flops.
What are you talking about?
You sold it all after CKLV
Not all of
Did
it.
you ever buy it back?
Obviously.
at a higher rate.
Did you buy it back against Henson?
Post Van Ness.
Yes.
You did.
JD ended up losing about $80,000 on that transaction.
Yeah.
It's okay. I made like 800,000.
Came out on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's we're kind of all over the place a little bit, understandably. We hit kind of the team notes. Anything else on the Penn State front?
So your mind also, David mentioned, it goes to David Taylor, Oklahoma State versus Penn State moving forward. This Oklahoma State team, they're losing a lot.
7 starters.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of their big dogs too. And I'm sure they'll pick up a guy or two in the portal, but it will be hard to repeat this performance next year. But recruits took note this weekend. We say it. We've said it before. What really matters is performing Saturday night, Friday night on the big stage. These top recruits, they want to know I can win an individual national title with you. And David Taylor proved you can do that. We talked about the improvement that these guys made. That, hey, under 1 year, look what David can say. Look what I was able to do with Hamady and Hendrickson and Spratley in 1 year. He went the whole spectrum, lightweight, 125 to heavyweight. That showed improvement from last year. And I'm sure he's telling these recruits, now think about what I can do for you in 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're going to take a little dip, I think, just because this team was a phenomenal team. But they were already getting top recruits before this. Now, I think they're going to be competitive with Penn State and those blue chip recruits, and it'll be really interesting to see 5, 6 years. I think, Penn State's not going anywhere. They're not changing, but I do think it will get more competitive.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking is like just thinking about the starting lineups between those two programs, and it's like Oklahoma State has to replace 7 guys. Penn State has to replace Bo Bartlett. They got Marcus Blaze coming in and Ono and whatever that means. They got to replace
Carter
Starocci. They got so many options.
Bar.
Yeah.
Mirasola.
Yep.
Kirkfleet.
They got to replace Kirkfleet. They got Mirasola. Like, so, you would say Mirasola's got some work to do to catch up to Kirkfleet, but in the other weights, it's like, who knows? They could be
flat.
They could be freaking right there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're not going to improve on Carter, but, it feels like they're going to be good there.
If you win a national title, it's like,
yeah.
then they'll be in there probably. Like,
You would think. We'll see. So even if they're going to dip at 84, they're going to dip at heavyweight, and even if they dip at 41, they're still going to be, I don't know.
You would predict a lot of their guys.
Well, what other team is even going to be close?
Well, and you'd predict like Lilidol, I don't know, probably pick them to do a little better.
Yes.
Kasak, probably pick them to do a little better. So, yeah, there's Levi.
Right.
Dude, you get rid of Hamady
And
and Keegan, like you pick them to do better. So, yeah, Penn State's just fine.
Yeah, Bar's the title favorite next year. Him or AJ, right? Because Cardenas and Buchanan are gone. So, he's going to be in the finals again, almost sure. I mean, look what he did this year or this tournament injured, right? He wrestled a really good match. And it looked like, man, Buchanan was going to be in trouble there with that locked hands call. But
you think he's the favorite over AJ?
Well, where does AJ go? Does AJ stay? I don't know.
Only one lost to Cardenas this season. And it wasn't AJ.
Was not Albert.
They both lost.
But they
to
both
the guy
beat-
at the.
But they both
tournament.
beat Cardenas.
They both lost to Buchanan. Yep. Okay. Where should we go next? I need to look.
You want to talk about AJ a little bit?
Where's he go?
Does he leave? Should he leave? I mean, he is in a
Unique.
much improved headspace, and his maturity, I think, was really apparent to a lot of people. I think he's still. Andy and I were talking about the Hamilton. Like, I feel like he's still on a high wire, and I think the right breeze can challenge him, and he's got to be ready to stay balanced at all times, because I do feel like you listen to those interviews, you hear he's still kind of getting in little mix-ups a little bit. He's still not a normal person like others, but you can't help but think, like, man, a year ago, and he put him in some of those situations, it maybe goes the wrong way. And if he can keep on the path, I think he proved this year what he had to prove. Mm-hmm. He had to get through a year. He needed to remain in good standing. He needed to show improvement and growth, and that he was not the risk. And now, here's the dynamic that shifts. Going into last spring and summer, when in his recruiting process, administrators and coaches had to go to administrators and say, hey, we want to take a look at this guy. And the last thing he did was this thing at the Soldier Salute. Now, those coaches, and many of those coaches wanted AJ, but he was a hard sell. Now, you could say, look, he did this whole year. He lost, he won the conference. He went through it. Here's his grades. Here's what he was able to do. Here's his interview. He lost, and he was able to come back and wrestle for third. He has shown the level of improvement that you can say, okay, this guy is not as much of a risk as he was a year ago. He proved what he needed to prove. Now the question is, does he need to leave, or will he stay? Does he understand that, like, hey, Cal State Bakersfield did a lot for AJ Ferrari. Coach Luke Smith and company did a lot for AJ Ferrari to get him to that point. And maybe do you not mess with that?
I mean, the thing about AJ that is so different from so many wrestlers is during the course of his career, he has taken multiple stints of like months or years off of the competition mat. And then when he comes back to compete, he's ready. The thing he got this year at Bakersfield was not a better technical approach to his single leg finish or his single leg defense or his whatever. What he got was focus on mentorship and character and, those type of things. And you're not going to get that every single place. No. You're going to go into a practice room and you're going to get these fine technical details, whatever, but not every coaching staff has the time to devote to one single athlete, the way that Ernest James and Luke Smith developed with AJ. I mean, that's a real thing, and that's what he needed. You hear him in the interviews talk about that, and it's his investment in his character and his faith. That's what's kept him with his mindset right, and that is for AJ. That's more important than just the technical stuff, right?
He kept saying absorbing energy, not reflecting it, absorbing it, because he is a guy who, like, he will reflect the energy back to you that you give to him very quickly.
Yeah.
And so, like, him getting used to not doing that, I think, not reacting to the crowd, not chirping back at people.
The crazy thing was how he flipped the crowd.
Yeah.
It was like 50-50 cheers to boos, probably more boos than cheers in the beginning. By the end, his last match, I've been going to that medal round match for over 10 years now, and every time it's the least attended, and by the end, no one is there.
It was the last match.
Very last match, no one left. Everyone stayed, and then at the end, the crowd was collectively behind him. It was he had totally flipped them. He didn't flip them in the wrong way this time.
He still flipped birds.
Double birds.
Well, that's
Double
my,
birds to the nerds.
That's my thing is AJ, there's not very many programs he can go to because there's only a few birds.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good
He
point.
can't be a cowboy again.
the Cyclones weirdly have a bird.
There's a bird connection there.
Okay. They don't have a hand signal.
The Hawkeyes, they got birds. I don't know.
He said it would be really hard to leave Bakersfield.
Yeah.
do you think he should? If you're AJ, if you're his family, what are you telling him? What do you think is the best move for him?
I mean, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But, I think you have to prioritize going to a place that is going to invest in and help you on the emotional regulation side. That's got to be, if you're really looking out for, because he's going to be able to wrestle well everywhere, right? That he just proved that.
Yeah.
So that has to be the first thing. And then you factor in training and you factor in money and things like that. But that's got to be the number one.
If it was my kid, I would say you're going to have to leave Bakersfield at some point. You're going to graduate. You're going to move on. But recognize the value and the benefit that you get from being around people who care about you and invest in you and mentor you. And don't go anywhere unless you know you're going to get that too.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We should turn the page.
You want to talk a little Hodge?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Wyatt's win.
Wait, before that, can we talk about Carter versus Parker?
Oh, yeah.
The chat wants us to talk about it.
We should have started with that, honestly.
There's so many things we should have started with.
I mean, but
Honestly.
as the headlining match, we should have started with it.
It was not the headlining match.
Well, but you start with the headliner and then,
Oh.
yeah,
Yes.
and then you're good. Yeah,
Yes.
and that way you have it.
That's how they do it. Yeah, amazing. Honestly, Carter, I thought it was a really different match from the All-Star match where Carter did not pressure the way he did in that match. And I thought he was. And essentially he said, I interviewed him after he won. And he said, yeah, I got hit for stalling in the quarters when I didn't take a backward step. And I was like, all right, forget this. I'm not going to get into a pushing match with Parker. And he really had a pretty much a reattack-centric game plan. And it worked. He got it done. I thought Parker honestly had it wasn't the final sequence, but he had one chance where I thought he could maybe score on a counter score. Like it was basically Carter's reattack, he was scrambling, and Parker was kind of close, but then the finish from Carter here is really pretty unbelievable because Parker has his far ankle so secured, but the strength for Carter to clear himself.
Can I tell you one thing that I thought was really weird about that right there? Carter gets the takedown, and then immediately the official stops it and says, stalemate. Mm-hmm. Well, why stop it there? I don't get it. Like, if you stop it, one, his hands are locked. If you don't stop it, now it's locked hands. He's got to advance up. I just thought it was odd that he stopped it right there.
You see that sometimes when they call the 3 and they would have to immediately go to a drop down count. Sometimes they'll just stalemate it right away.
Yeah. Well, I don't get
them do that.
I don't get why you don't either go to the drop down, and make the guy work up, or, call the locked hand. It just seems like if you're the bottom wrestler, they take away your ability to kind of advance in the position. It's kind of odd to me.
100%, because once you have to climb up, you're going to take one leg back. So kind of by definition, it is a stalemate where if Carter has to progress up, then Parker has an opportunity to score. But I guess it's in a lot of situations.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Great job by Carter. Incredible performance. I just thought that was weird how they called that.
I've seen that done a couple of times.
I don't
To
like
me,
it.
the alternative is like, let's say there's a challenge and it's ruled not a takedown. You're taking away the top wrestler's opportunity to continue to progress in that position.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the case anyway.
Yeah.
If there
Anyway,
was a challenge and they...
sorry, that was a tangent we didn't need, but yeah, just odd.
What separates Carter in match for me is probably also what separates him outside of the competition mat as well, is just drive and discipline.
Yeah.
Like you hear about Carter's work ethic, and I've seen a very small fraction of it, and I know nobody is outworking him. But then he takes that same attitude of determination and discipline into the match where he will not make a mistake. It is supreme focus. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard you actually have to focus for 7 minutes to not make one mistake, to stay disciplined, to follow a game plan, and not even step one wrong way. Put your weight one wrong way. He doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, he's a master of fundamentals, and he's taken that mastery and been almost impenetrable. I mean, barely gives. How many takeouts did he give up this year? McAnally got him with a beautiful low level.
That's it this year.
Might
right?
have been it.
I think so.
And even last year, did he give any up? Maybe one when he was hurt. I don't know.
He did it the tournament because he gave up a takedown. I think in his first two.
That's
matches.
right. That's right.
And he locked in. Kill told him to stop having a bad attitude, and he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll just win now." Yeah, unreal. What a legend too. Like,
Now, how well do you think he will transition to freestyle? Obviously, he's already shown he's very good at freestyle. He has good wins, but he's lost to guys like Nolf and Chance, which
he's also beaten those guys.
right, exactly. But he hasn't.
He hasn't established himself.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't know. I kind of thought, if he goes down to 79, I think that would be really good. I think at 86 is going to be tough.
Yeah.
He says he's big enough for it.
I mean, he is for sure.
You think?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a competitive match with Trent Hidley when he had to last minute go 86 at the Olympic trials.
Right.
That was after he was trying to make 74. Like, imagine Carter trying to be an 86. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely, I do.
His arms are pretty long, so that helps. I mean, length is a big part of it. But I just think about Zahid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Zahid is so good, but you can get him tired. I mean, Zahid has Zahid all but beat Aaron Brooks, right? Zahid is super good.
I think Zahid is for sure the favorite at that weight.
Who's for sure the favorite at 79?
I don't know, Kyle Dake?
What's Kyle Dake doing?
I don't know.
Is he wrestling? Yeah.
I don't know. He won't tell me.
Well, when I
Hanging out cheering Penn State at NCAAs. That's what he was doing
he
this
was.
weekend.
when I see him in the background
Almost
of,
ran up in there.
when I see him in the background of Ono videos playing dodgeball, he still looks pretty locked in.
He's locked in.
He's
If
locked.
He's
not
definitely
him-
training.
If not him, then I don't know. Chance? Would it be Chance?
He's not going back down, is he? He's 86.
Saying 86?
I don't know.
I don't know then. Then it would be Carter probably, right?
That's my point. That would be my point. I think. Yeah, that's my thought on 79. But he don't want to cut down. Certainly don't blame him. And he's got time to maybe put on more weight at this point.
I'm pretty sure he has said his plan is to train wrestling through 2028 and then transition into MMA. I'm guessing, though, do you think he'll start to kind of dabble before and split some time?
I don't know.
That could leak into
I feel like he really loves wrestling.
I feel like he's gonna be locked in. I feel like
Roman said the same thing too, and now he's locked in on wrestling.
he's all wrestling.
I feel like
I think-
the
no,
MMA world's gonna love Carter Starocci. I think they're gonna like this guy.
Yeah.
As long as he wins.
True.
Yeah.
I think he'll do a lot of winning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say like UFC champ, but I mean, he'd be right up there with like a Bo Nickel type prospect.
I think
especially
like, the
staying in
thing that
state
separates
college.
him, I'm not even like is his wrestling skill. It's like literally his mind.
Mental tenacity,
Mental
as AJ
tena-
Ferrari would
Yes.
call it. He's the most mentally
He's
tenacious and focused.
An ultimate competitor.
Yeah, the ultimate competitor. Yeah, it feels like if it's in the balance, he'll win it. Especially in folks. That's the thing. He's a master of understanding every aspect of how you win a folk style wrestling match. And now he's got it. He's not that in freestyle.
No,
he's not that, and it's so different. You can say wrestling's wrestling all you want, but it is just a little bit different. And so I'll be interested to see now that is 100% his focus, how that progresses for him.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other matches we want to hit on that we haven't yet?
What time is it?
11?
11.
11. Okay. Well, I feel like we do maybe a full like NCAA finals. We did the recap show and then right after, and maybe we start drilling into the weights on Thursday's show because we still have to do questions. We need to talk about the Hodge Trophy.
Talk about that
that's
right
the
now.
freaking Question.
Right now. We're talking about it.
You have a vote. Who's your vote?
Okay.
You have a vote?
Yes.
Have you always had a vote?
Not always.
Not since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Did you have one last year?
I've had one for 5 or so years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, more. Honestly, like 8. I think I got it in 2016.
Nice.
I mean, there's 4 criteria. record, dominance, quality of competition, sportsmanship. Those are the 4 criteria. So let's just do it. Record.
Wyatt wins.
Wyatt wins that.
They're all 27-0.
27?
Well, Mitchell has 2 forfeits and an injury and a 1-second injury default on there.
True. Wyatt also has an injury default.
Yeah, not a 1-second one. It was at least a wrestled match, but
I mean, partially.
yeah. And then
So that's a wash.
okay, I mean maybe. I think wrestling more is
More.
it's a wash for your
More. Come on, Mitchell went out there.
It's a wash from your perspective for the angle you're angling, but for me, it's more matches. I mean, he went to CKLV and won.
I know. I agree, and that's why I gave Carter a bump for doing the All-Star and not Wyatt.
Yep.
Even though I know they had a duel the next day, Carter gets a bump for towing the line.
It's a bump.
Also, but does All-Star count for like people, everyone that's voting? Do they include that?
That's
Yes.
Well, it's whatever.
Right.
You gotta factor it into your own head.
Yeah. There's no,
His official record, it doesn't count, but I incled it in 27-0.
I absolutely include it. Absolutely. That fact.
Technically, Carter is 26-0.
Quality of competition. I just can't. Quality of competition to me just matters, and especially how close they all 3 are in bonus rate. Just moves Carter and Wyatt just above Mitchell. And is it his fault? No, but if Mitchell was pinning everyone and was head and shoulders more dominant than Wyatt and Carter, then that's how you negate the fact that your weight class isn't as good. But he didn't do that exactly.
You want me to run through some numbers, some stats?
So let me run
for the
through.
3?
So quality of competition is clear edge Wyatt, without a doubt. And yes, he beat Gable.
He beat Gable.
He beat Gable and Greg Kerfley.
Which is more impressive, beating Gable or beating Parker Kekaisen
Gable.
twice?
Beating Gable.
Gable, of course. This guy is like hadn't lost since his freshman year.
Bro, the revisionist
Olympic
here
champion.
is crazy.
Yeah.
If I had said that to you before he beat Gable, you would never say
Not more crazy, but more impressive.
I will say this.
impressive.
I'll say this.
I still say beating Gable, but I think there is an argument to be made beating someone on the level of Parker Kekaisen twice and not getting taken down.
To give, I want to, JD, I do want to give you a little credit for your point, because Parker Kekaisen, his career, unbelievable career. And you think about the guys that beat him, and most of the time it's Carter Starocci and Aaron Brooks. I mean, that is crazy. But
Trent Truax.
yeah, Trent Truax. But I mean, that's a crazy career. So
Carter had more bonus point wins, and this is what I look at, like bonus point wins against All-Americans. If you pull up Carter's wrestle stat, he actually has more than Wyatt.
So
Bonus of All-Americans.
and Wyatt's regular decisions this year were Colton Schultz twice, Trumbull, Kirkfleet, and Steveson.
Those are his decisions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody else, he bonus. Carter, his regular decisions were Parker twice, Angelo, McNelly, Plott.
Yeah, but look at bonus point wins over All-Americans. That's
Okay, but if you bonus everybody in your schedule,
no, but they don't. They have one did it more. It's a separator.
No,
It's like all 3 of these guys pretty much bonus all the non-All-American caliber guys. So what's another way to separate them? What is their level
they all
of dominance?
four people each opponents that they had regular decisions against.
Yeah.
then yeah, it's like, how much does a pin matter versus a tech or a major?
To me, yeah, pinning, they kind of removed that from the criteria, but to me, it's still like the thing.
Dominance. So it's dominance score. You pin, you get one more team point. So Carter had a 4.7 dominance score, meaning every time he went out there, he averaged in between a major and a tech. Wyatt had a 5.11 dominance score, which he averaged over a tech fall because he had
So many pins.
so many pins.
That is an insane.
5.1.
Imagine rolling somebody out in your lineup that you're like, let's pencil them in for 5.
A 5 would
or
be
6.
on the low end for likelihood.
Man.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I probably. And then what they don't have in there is past accomplishments got removed as a criteria.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I still it all weighs in.
Look.
Because I'm factoring in Gable's past accomplishments as a rationale for why Wyatt Hendrickson
100%.
should win the Hodge. So how can I not also let that count for Carter, who he just won 5 in a row, and over the course of his career, last year he beat 2 national champions to be a national champion
on one leg.
Then he goes up, and what he does here. So how do you not consider that as well?
This is one of the most surprisingly difficult Hodge races of all time. You would have never would have thought we'd be in a position where we're trying to decide between Wyatt Hendrickson and Carter Starocci.
Right, and it's funny because after every single NCAA tournament, because we always have these kind of convoluted Hodge Trophy discussions, and it's like after NCAAs, we're going to have clarity, and we're probably going to know. And this is the first time in a long time I think it's a little bit tougher. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit tougher to call. Last year was not tough with Aaron. The year before was not tough at all with Mason Paris, who none of us were talking about coming into that tournament. And the way it all broke, he was a no-brainer. So, it's kind of an unbelievable thing. And I'm not gonna advocate for a double Hodge, but if it happened, I'm not gonna be surprised.
Oh, you're big flip.
I'm not flip. No, I'm predicting what I think could happen.
Okay. I am leading Carter. The 5-timer, and it's not so much that he won it 4 times before and did it for a 5th, but the fact that you have that target on your back every time, and he still went out there and said, Parker Keckheisen, and I'm going to wrestle you in the All-Star, and towed the line, beat him, didn't give up a takedown to this man even. And I got to go back, and I haven't crunched numbers yet on who all took Wyatt down. That would be maybe a deciding criteria.
Did anyone?
I don't know.
I mean,
I have no recollection.
I can't remember.
I watched almost all his matches.
Did he?
Schultz might have reversed him in the duel, or maybe took him down.
WrestleStat doesn't have anything on.
I don't think so.
Like that, right?
No, so I got to crunch
Wyatt?
those.
Yeah.
I mean, Gable took him down,
Right.
Yeah.
so he took him down in the match.
Interesting enough, Wyatt, no major decisions this season.
All text pins or decisions.
Man,
Yes.
he's got no use for the major.
Yeah. The only major he has used for is his rank.
That's right.
The United States Air Force.
Well, he's a second lieutenant, so
He's got the goal of a major.
And my opinion could be swayed on that, and I don't know. The numbers are so similar. 0.5 difference in dominant score is notable because he had so many pins, but I don't know. What Carter did is so impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I've been watching this.
Carter's wrestle stat for me.
I've been watching this YouTube chat over here on the screen. A little distracting, but also I love how many opinions people are on both sides of this thing, and that illustrates the point, dude. This could really go either way.
There are even some people for Mitchell out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a few people. Yeah, that's fine.
So go down.
he has actually I don't know if he does have the highest bonus percentage. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Mitchell actually did with 87.
Does, right? Yeah.
So go down.
Now, because this doesn't include All-Star, so his bonus percentage is going to be higher in this than what I consider it.
I just want to count All-American bonus point wins for Carter. So Jackson Smith, Edmund Ruth DQ, tech fall of DJ Washington who placed, tech fall of Jackson Smith, major of Silas Allred. Yes, we had 6 bonus point wins over All-Americans. Now go to Wyatt.
All right, so we got currently 6. 6 is the record to beat.
6 is the record to beat. And then we go to Wyatt, who has...
Gosh, he beat Kirkley
Trumbull.
8-2.
I know he's close.
That is crazy.
Trumbull. He texts Keeter, who placed. Keep going.
Did Jarrett Stoner place?
He pinned Trumbull. And so 3 for Wyatt.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is significant.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's where when you start to look at it, it's not as clear cut on the dominance front.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
The Feldman injury does kind of factor in a
Because
little bit.
it feels
too.
like that was coming.
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily weigh that super hard when I consider the Oklahoma State schedule was probably just as hard as Penn State. Maybe not dual when you have a Big Ten dual schedule versus Big 12, but the fact that they went to CKLV.
Dude, their dual schedule was really good too. Virginia Tech, NC State, Iowa State, UNI. I mean, it's a legit Missouri, which this year, but yeah.
Do you give any note or credence to the fact that Kirkfleet injury defaulted out and the rumor is he's pretty hurt?
No.
Do
No,
you
because of
knock that?
Gable.
No.
Yeah, no.
If he beat Greg, let's say Gable's not there, and he beat Greg in the semis, and then he forfeited out, and then
It's also not like Greg sucked all year. Like Greg made the Big Ten finals.
made the semis.
Yeah, made the semis.
The rumor is he got hurt in between Big Tens and NCAAs.
Yes.
I don't. Not confirmed. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It only
but-
matters if he doesn't beat Gable immediately after.
Right.
So it's
Wiseman for not
irrelevant.
bonusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Greg made the semi still. He beat Heinzelman, who took 7th.
Yeah.
So it's not like he beat him 5-0, like pretty dominantly. So
I'll say Greg didn't look 100% when he wrestled Wyatt. I'm not trying to take away anything away from
Well,
Wyatt. He
an hour. That's that's the whole.
yeah, that is kind of exactly
Yeah,
what
that's
you are
exactly
doing.
You're trying
I mean,
to
sure,
you're
maybe.
you're trying to diminish the win.
not necessarily the win, but yeah, sure, maybe.
Well, I don't know what it would be.
I'm not doing that, but
I'm not doing that,
but maybe.
but maybe.
Anyway, no.
But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Carter has no sportsmanship, says overpaid trading.
Wow.
Dang. None?
None is crazy.
None is crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to questions.
All right. First question is from Andrew Spay. He says, 2 states with more All-Americans than Pennsylvania, cause for concern or positive sign of parity? And he has a little graph for us here. New Jersey with 8 All-Americans, Illinois with 8 All-Americans, Wisconsin with 6, Pennsylvania with 6, and so on and so forth.
I really enjoyed the Pennsylvania era.
Dude, we were actually talking about this in the watch party. Pennsylvania is in like a crazy resurgence right now at the high school level, where the number of like nationally ranked high schoolers they have is like through the roof. So I think they're down a little bit right now, but like in a couple, I mean, they have the number 1 and 2 high school teams in the country, and we're not talking prep teams where, it's made up of guys from all over the country. Like they are Pennsylvania kids, and PA is gonna. I mean, not every single kid, but they've lived there since high school. That's what they're gonna be identified on is this in a few years. So it's funny. It does look a little weird for them to be behind New Jersey and Illinois, but I expect 2, 3, 4 years from now they're gonna be on the far left side of this graph.
Cool.
All right. Magic wants to know, after all the edge of mat wrestling and stalling/non-stalling calls for out of bounds, does it make sense to go to push-out point when wrestling neutral, or do we adopt the shot clock and passivity? A lot of people like to kind of kill multiple birds with one stone. People want to talk about the finals and the passivity and the stalling, the challenges. Like, let's kind of touch on that.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, if you go out of bounds under attack, you're stalling. And to pretend, and Shane Sparks loves it. He thinks it's great, but I don't. This is where we disagree. I think you should not reward going out of bounds. It is rewarded. It is helpful to go out of bounds. It is smart to go out of bounds. It is the right wrestling thing to do to go out of bounds when you're under attack. That is not good. That is not good. And the fact that it creates some interesting splits and some weird defense where a guy's just trying to pull out of bounds for even a stall warning. It needs to be more black and white concrete punishment, because this sport needs to push towards more scoring. And in offense, the NFL is always trying to make more scoring, more offense. And the fact that we have something that makes it almost impossible to get a takedown if you can get towards the out of bounds line. And yeah, the fact that there's some high degree of difficulty finishes on the edge is not a benefit to the sport. So yeah, I agree. I have agreed. We have said going out of bounds needs to be punished more. It is rewarded. if you think going out of bounds should be rewarded, then you will love it. But I just don't.
There's always that conversation of, freestyle, should NCAA switch to freestyle? Forget that conversation. Here's the thing freestyle has figured out is that if somebody's always losing, if somebody's always winning, somebody's always losing, there is going to be incentive for that, the person that's losing to try to score. So you kind of eliminate that. And then also the edge of the mat stuff, there's nowhere to hide, right? They've figured those things out. So it's not that the NCAA needs to adopt freestyle. It's like, look at what freestyle figured out and how can we as a sport figure that out as well? How do we get rid of, tied match, everyone's going to just kind of like concede for a minute. How do we get rid of that? How do we get rid of hiding out of bounds? Don't go to freestyle, look at freestyle and figure out how they solve those and maybe figure out what you can adopt into the folk style system.
You know what else they figured out? Penalizing lost challenges.
Yeah.
Yes.
After this weekend, the finals especially, when there were those, 125, 133, 141, if there was anything close, takedown or not, especially in the finals when coaches have challenges to use, they were throwing them. And I'm not blaming the coaches. Why wouldn't you?
Use it, yeah.
Yeah, you have to. But there has to be a penalty if you don't. I'm not fully on board to say just get rid of challenges. Yeah, but I think that is honestly a better solution than the product we have now. I think the best option is if you lose the challenge, you lose a point like freestyle does.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I think, I don't know. I think it just only rears itself worst in the NCAA finals, but it doesn't feel
100%.
like it's that bad. If it's only for 10 matches of the tens of thousands, I mean, who knows, hundreds of thousands of matches wrestled every year. I don't think that's a reason to change it necessarily. But yeah, it does disrupt the flow.
I mean, it disrupts. I noticed it during the tournament too. You notice it in duels too when we get multiple long challenges, right? If you get one per match.
Yeah.
Like you talked about it, you want to put offensive product out there, as good of a product you can out there. And I think the best product is you lose or your opponent gains a point if you lose the challenge.
Maybe choice. I don't know. Something. Yeah, maybe that. I'm more passionate about, tightening up the out of bounds rules for sure.
What about, is there anything that can be done when you think, how many matches went to tiebreakers? And how long did we go in the NCAA finals without a takedown being scored?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was one in the first match, but 25 and 33 did not have takedowns in it.
And then I guess Brock came out right away and scored 6 points.
They made up for it a little bit in the 41.
Yeah. And naturally, the NCAA finals is going to lead itself to that when you think about how close these wrestlers are, how high level they are, and that's naturally going to tend to incredibly close matches. This is going to happen. I realize that in the NCAA finals, but I still think I think, hey, passivity is a great way to kind of, negate that and criteria where somebody is always losing. If there's no points scored in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, whatever, somebody's got to go on the clock. I think that produces a better product. And like Bray said, you can just adopt stuff like that. Keep your mat wrestling.
Cool.
All right. Wrestling Crooner wants to know. Where to go?
Got to figure out a way to make some money on this.
Wrestling Crooner wants to know, what's your opinion on Shapiro's very thinly veiled steroid accusations?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an insane thing to do. I didn't like it at all. I think, what is that based on? I mean, putting something like that out there, to me, candidly, looks kind of like sour grapes. I lost because someone's on steroids. I don't know. I didn't know what he meant, honestly. And I think if you're going to put something like that out there, you should come a little more correct with a little more information. But just putting it out there, this person's on steroids, which he did. Of course, he didn't accuse any one person, but he basically sounded like his competition was on steroids, which I think that's wrong. And I mean, maybe they are. If they were, but I feel like what is this based on that we're putting something like that out there that really puts the sanctity of the sport in question? It just creates a cloud of mystery. And I also thought it was a really tough look from Marinelli and Warner to basically chime in and quote tweet it and say, like, really, or whatever they said. I thought, man, this is like the sour grapes is crazy, and now we're losing because people are on steroids. Well, who? Well, how do you know that? Do you really know? So I didn't like that at all. I thought that was kind of a brutal look from all involved.
I got an email before Super 32 from a concerned wrestling fan that some kids at Super 32 were on steroids.
Oh.
And I was like, well, what? I mean, do you have a plan? And the wrestling fan told me, I think you could probably go to like CVS and pick up like drug tests.
They want us to drug test them.
I could have picked up. I should have gone to CVS and seen if they had like 2,500 drug tests and passed them out at weigh-ins, but I didn't do it.
Oh, you
Just
didn't
get
want
USADA
to
going.
test every Super 32 athlete?
I didn't do it.
Oh, dang.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and I'm not naive enough to think that steroids and PEDs can help, but I think just putting it out there.
Yeah.
What is that based on, Meyer and Alex Marinelli and Warner? You're certain, Alex and Jacob? You know? You know. Who? Why? What is stopping you? And why CP is getting fired up? Why? Because everyone, we get it a lot. Everyone comes to us while they're because for years, this team's cheating, this team's doing that. Okay, all right, let's go on the record about it. Oh, no, you just want us to put it out there. And how, by what mechanism are we supposed to prove that people are on steroids or that this team's cheating? Or what is this based on? You won't even tell me what it's based on off the record, that they're on steroids or that this team's cheating. You won't even go that far and just tell me what you know. Look into it. What are you talking about? Like, so they want to just be, kind of activate the snitch hotline, but they won't even give any information about it. And we're not even equipped to like break that kind of stories. But I just think it's that tactic of, I think it's sour grapes in front of everyone. And if there's more to it, then free country. What is it? What's behind that? Why do you believe that? That's kind of where my head and heart go in those moments.
All right. Next question is from Sam Stevens, casual fan and first time questions from friends tweeter. Let's give him a round of applause. First timer.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
way to go, Sam.
If you had to pick one match to watch the rest of your life, would you go with Gable versus Hendrickson or Gable versus Petrashvili?
I don't know.
Gable, Gino.
Yeah,
me too.
Gino,
You have
probably.
to. His name's Geno, first of all.
No,
I like Gino.
not today.
Feels like he makes steak subs in Philly.
I mean, I don't know if I would pick this match if I could only pick one match, but I would have to think about it.
They're so good.
But I would take
Petrashvili's
Wyatt.
amazing.
I would take Wyatt over.
Really?
It was just
He's supposed to cry.
yeah. Like I love an underdog story, and Gable wasn't that much of an underdog.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 30 seconds of that match, he was.
Dude,
It's underdog versus comeback.
He
What do
did.
you like?
He did literally break the rules to get that Olympic gold medal.
he didn't.
He didn't break them. He changed them.
He changed
He
them.
changed them for
dude,
15 seconds.
I love that. Like I have the commentary from both matches just echoing in my head at all the time. Like both were awesome. This is a great question, Sam.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sam, keep bringing us questions like this.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Next one. Kansas Next Topic wants to know who was the mayor this weekend.
I think he hails from your home state, Kansas.
Newton. He's from Newton, Kansas.
Newton, Kansas. His name's Wyatt Hendrickson. He was the mayor. He's the vice president.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I feel like the
He
mayor.
holds high office.
Don't you feel like the spirit of the mayor though usually has to be someone who didn't win it? Am I
AJ.
crazy for that? Yeah.
AJ
I was
might be
gonna
the
say
mayor.
AJ.
Maybe AJ's
We've said in the past the mayor generally has to come through the backside.
Yeah.
AJ was mayor by the end of it when it was all said and done.
He might be elected constable. We'll see.
Yeah.
Our producer wants to know what we're talking about. Maybe people don't know what the mayor is. You want to explain what?
Basically, every NCAAs, there's someone kind of out of nowhere who becomes like the fan favorite. Like 2016, it's the most famous one. It was David Terrell. In 2018, it was Tariq Wilson, undoubtedly the mayor of Cleveland. And then, maybe H.A. Ferrari, the mayor of Philadelphia.
And you know what else?
Scriptural.
You know what other award he won this year that was surprising? Spay always wants to talk about the Doug Villaro Award for the last wrestler on the mat.
Yeah.
AJ was the last wrestler on the mat for session 5, a 197 pounder. So he's winning all kinds of awards. Stacking
He
them up.
kept everyone in the building.
He really did.
That's mare worthy.
Did he give Cardenas a couple of kisses, or was that just?
Yeah, he went kind of Iranian.
Yep.
Right on the cheek. Former Bergen Catholic.
Yep.
Teammates had to do it to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was great.
I prefer, because Usain AJ was the last match that session, I prefer the 3 mats for session 5.
Yeah.
Where you watch all the 7th place matches, or not all of them, but you get the 7th place. Then we move on to whatever matches instead of the 4 where it's bang, 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 bang. You got 3rd here, 5th here, kind of.
I do too. I think I do too. Yeah. But yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not you show all the matches, but weights. So you have 3rd, 5th, and 7th place matches for 125 pounds going on at the same time.
Yep.
Boom. Instead of in weight order.
Next question's from Brady Stafford. He said, I need a Dean Hamady apology with tears.
I won't apologize.
Well, here's my thing is like people want you to apologize. Like there was someone in the chat saying like, I thought Gable was going to lose. I've been saying that Gable was going to lose. You look bad when you were like you can't predict that going into that match. Like
Boy, looks mad smart now.
No, I don't even care that Gable did lose. Like it's still a bad prediction at the time. Like that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion was I've never seen Dean beat anyone on the caliber of Levi Haynes or Keegan O'Toole in his entire career, and you would have to have me predict him to do that twice. So I just didn't, and I was very wrong because he definitely did. He beat Levi straight up, beat Keegan straight up. It was unbelievable. But there was just there's nothing to, we didn't. Yeah. There's nothing to suggest this was about to happen.
Dude, he wasn't on the podium last year, and he had an incredible season. But yeah, we saw it in the Big 12 finals, right? He took the L, and guess what? He freaking made up for it big time.
The tide did shift quite a bit after the semifinals win.
Oh yeah, once he won, I definitely was like,
it opens the door.
100%. After he beat Levi, I was like, oh, this might and Keegan looked, he was shaky, right? He was not fully himself. You beat a healthy Levi, I was honestly feeling like, it's an extreme possibility. I don't even know if Dean's the underdog here.
You told a story, didn't you say you were having a conversation with David Taylor, or he even talked to you? It was like, once you do it once,
yes,
it makes it so you can do it again. Like it opens the doors for it.
Yeah, he thought that Levi win would have that level of significance for him. Like once you know you can do it.
That was after the semis that David said that.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Dude, I want to do a whole deep dive in my head about guys that did something once and now you're going to freaking think about them different for the rest of their college careers. Like there's Antrell. I mean, even guys like Zan Fugit or Jacob Van
I owe Antrell an apology.
Yeah.
The show before this, I said I was ready for Antrell. I mean, again, I don't believe in the apology thing, but the show before the NCAAs, I said I was ready for Antrell to establish himself as a title contender this year, and he hasn't done that. And then the guy freaking goes and wins it.
Yeah.
Like, things happen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad for Keegan, though, because, like we've said, Hamady hasn't had this incredibly successful career like David Carr, who beat him last year, right? Where he didn't lose to another, I don't want to say all-timer because that gets thrown out a lot, but another multiple-time NCAA champion, somebody who really gets looked at as having a phenomenal career. And I think that's probably going to ding him when it shouldn't, because we're going to forget this man was not healthy. And
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I'm just talking, whenever I say this like in large, I don't mean the hardcore diehards like us. I'm talking 50 years from now in the history books, you'll see Keegan O'Toole, 2-time NCAA champion, but they might not remember like how dominant he was, that he lost to David Carr, and then that he wasn't healthy here, and how we viewed Keegan O'Toole for the past 3 years, and that if, it's all about timing, I guess you can say that with anybody, but
I just checked up on the chat. They chimed in during the mayor conversation. They mentioned Zan Fugit.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Great mayor candidate.
People were feeling it.
We should talk about the Lineup Legends winner.
Oh, yeah.
Gary?
Mm-hmm. Gary.
Let's go, Gary.
Gary got 7.
Come on, Gary.
Right. I'm trying to get which 7.
Yeah, we don't know which 7.
We don't know which 7. He did not. I know he did not get Wyatt, correct? But that means he freaking got some tough ones.
Yeah. Now
Vincent Robinson. I mean, if he got that one, that's pretty surprising. Bird probably he had. Jesse Mendez he probably had. Ridge, I could see that. 57. If he had Antrell Taylor, that would be crazy.
Yep.
Mitchell probably.
Oh, I have Gary's lineup.
Oh, let's get
Shot
it.
an email
Let's
to us.
go.
What a
Okay.
legend.
So this was Gary's predictions. First, let's talk a little bit about Gary. Should we tell the crowd who he is? This guy, where was it? Hold on. I'm looking for the email.
It's in the doc.
Okay. So, Gary is 79 years old, living in North Carolina. He was in the arena for the tournament all weekend. He entered Lineup Legends because his son encouraged him to.
Nice, Gary.
And he was a wrestling coach in Notre Dame High School in New Jersey for 42 years, where he is now in the Hall of Fame. He coached football and track there too. So the Lineup Legends winner, a true legend of the sport.
That's right.
His lineup was 125, Vincent Robinson. He picked Vincent
no
Robinson.
kidding.
What a beast.
133, he picked Lucas Bird.
Okay.
141, he picked Bo Bartlett.
Hold on. Time out.
Okay.
I think this guy likes Illinois. He's got Bird goes to Illinois. Vince Robinson from Illinois. I don't know. All right.
Well, he's from New Jersey.
He hates Illinois.
Keep going.
149, he picked Ridge Levitt.
Okay.
157, he picked Tyler Kasak. 165, he picked Mitchell Messenbrink. 174, Dean Hamity.
Wow.
184, Carter Starocci. 197, Stephen Buchanan. 285, Gable Steveson. The tiebreaker was how many points the winning team would score at NCAAs, and he guessed 175. The next closest was 164.
He was within 2 points.
Yes.
Sheesh.
Wow. Gary's a monster. Mm-hmm. Enjoy that 10K.
Hey,
I want to know what he's going to do with it.
I have an idea for
The
him.
average, listen to this. The average number of correct picks, 2.9.
2.9.
How many did you guys get? I got 4.
Christian got 2.
I had 49, 65. Is that it?
I had 33, 41, 65, and 84.
So I'll go through mine real quick
84. I had 84. I had 3.
because I got a lot wrong.
It was a tough year
How
for
wrong
predictions
was
for
I?
me too.
How wrong was I?
Okay, let's hear
here's the spin zone. Luke Lillidahl, I would literally pick him to win that tournament.
This is Tyler's revisionist history going. It was still a bad pick if you picked Wyatt over Gable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me go.
It was.
All right. You had Lil Little?
Okay, I had Drake Ayala.
Okay.
Right there. 41, Bo Bartlett. Literally, he was like 3 seconds away from winning that
Well,
one.
he's 3 seconds away from winning or losing every match he wrestles.
No, this was way closer than that. Are you kidding me? 149. Was that 3 for Caleb Henson? They held up 3. He was doubled off. I think we could use a little clarity on what is and isn't 3. 157. I would pick Tyler Kasak to win. 165. I got right. 174 whiff.
Who'd you pick, Levi?
I picked Levi. Not a whiff. He got 3rd, but
Yeah.
84 right. 97. He gave him the closest match. He was right there with Buchanan. I will say Buchanan not only was the national champion, it felt like he had the best year of every 197.
Totally.
100%. And then, I will never pick Wyatt to beat Gable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I only 2 right. What you get is how well you did. But I don't feel like I was like, I'm not like embarrassed by any of my picks.
No.
Like I was way off.
Yeah, people like love to chirp at you at this arena, and it's
Yeah, I
like,
know.
let's see your picks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Lineup Legends, one of the most fun parts of the watch party was we were tracking producer Nikki's Lineup Legends throughout.
He probably beat me.
We were
He's in
ringing
my ear.
the,
He said he beat you.
we were ringing the cowbell every time one of his Lineup Legends guys won, and then they started to fall. It's too bad because he had the money already spent. We found a
Houseboat?
houseboat on Facebook Marketplace. It was locked and loaded.
Dude,
but
the worst part of my prognostications this year was losing to Caleb in 5 out of 7 competitions, including our fantasy duel meet,
Goodness.
where we went back and forth. He beat me. It was really close.
You know what you should do? Just arm wrestle him. Show him what's up.
Yeah.
Show him who's boss.
He was feeling strong when I got home. Maybe that's because I was on 0 hours of sleep, but he was like, all right, relax.
Caleb becomes the new host of FRL.
Yeah, come on, buddy. Hey, I want to tell your. You should tell your luggage story.
Oh my!
Tyler had the toughest, dude. Tyler was dreading our flight home for.
I'm a big. I care about my sleep to an annoying degree. It kind of pisses everyone in this office off sometimes because I complain about when I lose sleep.
Yeah.
And so I was. This tournament was a grind. East Coast time. We were working till like 2 a.m. going to sleep.
most nights. Yep.
And then so like the last night we have to work until I didn't go to sleep till 1 a.m. and we had to wake up at 3. We met in the lobby at 3:45 a.m.
Yep.
We
Hello.
all slept for like 2 hours. And I I wake up, I get all my stuff packed, and my freaking zipper, I already had one zipper broken on my bag, and the other one breaks. And so I can't get my bag zipped up. He saw the visual because I had my hands full. So I'm literally kicking my bag down the hallway, trying to get it downstairs.
It was so. I text Tyler like, "Hey, are you coming?" He's like, "I might be screwed," basically. And we come down and look at this thing.
Dang, dude. Otherwise, you would have had to just bear hug it.
Luckily, I had packing tape in my bag because I brought tape just in case I needed to tape a microphone to someone this trip, and I almost never have tape on me, and so I just
and I kind of thought they would. I was telling you, I was trying to keep you positive because you were down. I was like, they're gonna have something there. This happens.
Yeah,
I've seen it, but
and that was a complete lie. They did not have anything. They were
did
like,
not have anything.
They were like, they looked at me like I was an idiot for asking them. They were like, why would we have tape for you?
Well, why? You know what, Southwest? Think about it. These things happen to help a loyal customer like Tyler. But the funniest thing was Tyler gets off the elevator. I mean, he's so mad, and just generally to have to be awake, and now it's very stressful, and he's just kicking.
You guys probably saw the bag get kicked out of the elevator before you saw me walk out.
Yeah, it was. And then you play the waiting game when it comes down is it going to make it?
Yeah, when we got to Austin, I was like, I hope it's there.
Because we had a connection, so there's extra, and like everyone's seen the videos of the baggage people just like yeeting bags, like we're like. But I said, you know what? They're going to see this. We're like, all right, we'll be a little tender, a softer touch. And it made it. It made it, did it not?
Oh, man.
Good tape job, Cowboy.
Thank you. I feel bad because there's like 100 more questions, but we're 10 minutes over time.
We're 10 over. We're going to be back Thursday. We'll probably be in our regular cadence of shows for the next little bit, which is
don't be afraid to duplicate questions. If we didn't get to
run them back.
Today, ask it again next time and the time after that, because we might get to them.
Maybe we can also go back in time and look at the list. But we thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of FRL. Thank you to Masanosuke Ono for hopping on and sharing his news with the wrestling world, and it is significant wrestling news. We'll be back Thursday. Thanks so much for tuning in. For JD, David, and Tyler, I'm CP from Austin, Texas. See you next time.